look at all that money, yeah, the money that they spent. Take another look now and take some time for hemp. I don't cut trees for paper, cause it hurts the environment. Stop deforestation, yeah, it's time for hemp. Oh, an acre of hemp makes 20 barrels of oil. No need for pesticides to poison all our soil. People got no food, they got no clothes, they got no rent. Well, right now it's time for hemp.
Thank you for taking time for hemp. I am your host, Casper Leitch. You are listening to the live broadcast of Time for Hemp all around the world on Tumblr, SoundCloud, iTunes, YouTube, and of course, iHeartRadio. We are the only all hemp, all cannabis programming in iHeartRadio, and we are a growing team of people. I thought we started a Japanese program, but we've only gotten one segment from them, so either they're dying in Fukushima or they're trying to figure out their editing machine. But we will have more, we hope, in the future. We're also doing French on Fridays in the afternoons, and every Tuesday and Thursday you can enjoy us in Spanish for an hour here on the big broadcast. We also have programming coming to you out of England and all around the world, including Canada. And I want to say thank you to KDK Distributors for being nice enough to give us a grant to keep us loud, proud, and strong. And send my love to Jason Wilcox and Al Graham, who do programming out of Canada for the big network. Starting next week, we got Joe Grumbine coming onto the network. And Muck Sticky starts his show this evening, so make it a point to tune in. And like any good joint, we are best when shared with your friends. On the program, it is Tuesday. And on Tuesday, we like to salute all the amazing activists up in Canada. To me, they have been true leaders of the industry. Not only have they had an understanding of social use, as some people like to refer to recreational use of marijuana, and medical benefits of this plant, they have been putting forward a large number of products made out of this plant from the hemp industry, papers and food and lotions and cosmetics, and even their government likes to get behind them and help subsidize the advertising of their hemp products globally. And yet you still got those ass clowns in Parliament. I don't get it. That's my That's my joint host, Kelly Kriston. Good morning, Kelly.
Buenos dias. How you doing today?
Groovy, thank you. We have a wonderful host from our network on the program today, Anndrea Hermann. Anndrea, thank you for being on the program.
Yes, thank you, for sure.
And you've been on holiday, but you've also, unless I know you, when you take a holiday, you're still working and you're still looking for new hemp products and new hemp companies and ways to expand this wonderful industry. What's new with you? And I'll let you and Kelly get up to date.
Well, I've just returned from, a few days of holidays, being over at the Winnipeg Folk Festival, and had an opportunity to see some really great products there. One of those was Raw Nada. It is we actually got the Goji hemp snackers. These are a raw hemp snacker made with hulled hemp, coconut water, maple sugar, goji berry, citrus fiber, and a little bit of citric acid. And this is from a little company based here in New Bothwell, Manitoba. In addition, we had a great time hanging out with our friends over at Manitoba Harvest Fresh Hemp Foods at their booth, and it was really cute on one of the last days of the Winnipeg Folk Festival. They were providing free 1 liters of hemp milk, and all you needed to do was come up and sing a little song. So it was really great to see their team interacting with the folk festival goers and everybody really having a good time and getting educated about industrial hemp.
Awesome. So things are onward and upward?
Yes, absolutely. The Hemp Industry Association, we're gearing up for a couple of really great events, and everybody can head on over to thehia.org to check out our events. We have a 3-day Hemp Creek Building Seminar coming up in Fort Collins, Colorado. And you can register for that event on the Hemp Industry Association's website. There is a fee for the event, but it also comes with some lunch. There's camping. There's a special rate if you want to stay in the hotel and not on site. And then in addition, the Hemp Industry Association will be gearing up for our annual conference, which will be in Washington, D.C. on the 21st and 22nd of September. And registration is now open. There will be a lobby day and a full day of conference.
Awesome. Recently, Casper got a guest on the show, and they're making a product that's a deck stain. That only requires one coat and obviously is environmentally friendly and all that kind of stuff. I'm not knowing if you're familiar with it. It's the product may be available in Canada now, but it's another. Sorry?
Yeah, I am actually familiar with it. Luckily enough, Dave Sieber, a good friend and colleague of all of ours really in the hemp industry, and I just had Dave on my last show, which we will do an encore of that show tonight on my show, iHemp Radio, which we're part of the Time for Hemp family also. Yes, Dave Sieber and Hemp Shield, what a great product. And I can let you all know tomorrow we will actually start scraping my barn here in Manitoba, Canada, to actually apply Hemp Shield. So we're really going to be able to see how Hemp Shield holds up in minus 40 Fahrenheit, minus 40 Celsius temperatures that we get in the winter. So we're really excited about having the opportunity to showcase Hemp Shield right here on my little hobby farm. So we'll be taking pictures and documenting as it goes down. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, I was really astounded by what he had to say about the product, and yeah, it sounds really, really exciting. I mean, what another amazing product made from hemp. It's crazy, man. We got so much to do, so far to go with this product. I think it can. I guess that we can call it the soybean of the manufacturing industry, hopefully in the future.
Yeah, you know, a lot of times what we've seen here in Canada particularly, it's kind of equated to, you know, what happened essentially with rapeseed canola, where it was, you know, sort of a novel product, had its little niche market, and now we see canola oil everywhere, readily available on all markets, implemented in and put into feeds, animals and human consumption feeds, also industrial applications like slipping agents and these types of things. So we're definitely seeing a global revolution, and also, you know, a global definition of what industrial hemp means and how that's going to roll out, you know, whether it be in Canada or in the United States. I mean, right now in the U.S., we've got small plots that are in the state of Kentucky. There are plot works happening, of course, in Colorado under their legislation. And I think it's very interesting that we're starting to see, and of great benefit, seeing, you know, the USDA, for instance, coming on board this year after the Farm Bill was signed, which allows under Section 7606 of the Farm Bill for states that have put in place regulations pertaining to the cultivation of industrial hemp can move forward on the federal level by doing some research. So that's all facilitated underneath 7606. So we're starting to see this roll out. And one of the things that the USDA was getting, well, they were getting questions about, well, how, you know, what is going to be the case when a farmer in a state that has legalized the cultivation of industrial hemp that goes and applies for a USDA benefit? And then basically the USDA came out with a formal letter stating that if you cultivate industrial hemp in any state that has legalized it and has the proper, registration process in place so that you can actually get a license and move forward, if you're in any one of those states and you cultivate industrial hemp, you will not be denied said benefits from the USDA, basically stating that the only reason why you would be denied any benefits is if you did not have the proper licensing in place, because underneath the USDA's some of these benefits that you apply for, you have to show exactly what all of your acreage is on your farm. So some of the farmers were a little fearful about, will I not get my subsidies? Will I not get this, protection or insurance or compensation or loan because of the cultivation of industrial hemp? So this is another really positive movement that we've seen in the last little bit, with the USDA coming on board and saying you will not be denied benefits.
That's awesome. So, are there any stats available on the amount of hemp planted this year in Canada?
Not yet. We're just waiting to get back our estimated acres, but I know we're probably somewhere up around that 80,000 mark.
And roughly how much of an increase from last year?
We had around 68,000 last year. So I'm looking at approximately I estimate somewhere between 10 to 20,000 extra acres this year that have been put in, but it's probably going to be upward of that 20,000 plus acres this year, in addition to last year's acreage that will be put in. And we're seeing, international growth. The Hemp Industry Association estimates over, $5 million worth of, or $500 million worth of sales of hemp goods in the U.S. based on SPINS data and other data that's been collected. But now what we're seeing is, a lot of mainstream, especially as industrial hemp is becoming recognized in the States. And a lot of that force is pushed behind the work from Vote Hemp, the hemp industry associations, and all of the grassroots organizers across the U.S., for instance, for the Hemp History Week national campaign.
Wow, lots going on. I'm just every time I hear that there's more, it makes me happy.
Yeah, and I think we're really beneficial here in Canada. One of the things Casper opened up with saying was that, here in Canada, we have a great support from our federal government. Let's just say, for instance, you're a hemp company in Canada and you want to attend a trade show. There is some opportunities to apply for some additional funding or support from the government of Canada to attend these shows and really promote Canadian agriculture. And if we look at what's happening in Canadian agriculture, we're seeing an increase in organic acres. We are seeing an increase in growers looking to diversify their crop rotation, but also increase their farm gate. And without farmers, we don't have food. We don't have our crops that we grow, and we definitely wouldn't have industrial hemp. So definitely everybody out there, thank a farmer. And if you're really interested in what's happening in the Canadian hemp industry, I definitely suggest that you head over to hemptrade.ca. This is the Canadian Hemp Trade Alliance. It's a national association here in the U.S., and they are gearing up for their 2014 annual conference, which will be held in Manitoba on November 17th through the 19th. So this event actually starts on the 16th of November, so you're looking at a 4-day event. The first day, the 16th, is the annual general meeting and the members-only reception. Then the 17th and 18th is in trade show and conference mode. And then on the last day, on the 19th, we will be looking at some of the Campus Innovation Center, the Alternative Village, which has some hemp structures built there that they've been testing at the University of Manitoba. And in addition, we are, the hotel is really located close to the French Quarter and the new Human Rights Museum, which will be scheduled to be open in September of 2014. So it gives people an opportunity some people to see snow for the first time and experience what November is like in Manitoba. But we've really positioned this conference so people can get out and enjoy the city and really get a taste of what the Canadian hemp industry is all about.
Manitoba, is that our biggest producer of hemp in the country? I know that there's a fair amount done here in Alberta.
Yeah, I think what we're really looking at is it's pretty equally distributed. Saskatchewan has the most certified organic acres of all. So, Saskatchewan has led the way in having the most acreage. I principally think because of the fact that we have a lot of certified organic acres in Saskatchewan. But what I'm really excited about is seeing the increase in growth in Ontario, Quebec, for instance, and, bringing it more on as a national national crop. People often think that industrial hemp is something only grown in the prairies, and that's not true. And we are seeing through the Canadian Hemp Trade Alliance, for instance, the national variety trials, which is really helping to identify what varieties are going to work in southern Ontario and what varieties or new varieties that are coming out work in the prairies, for instance. And these variety trials are just some of the work that the Canadian Hemp Trade Alliance does to support the entire sector, not only here in Canada, but internationally, as we start looking at, seed development, seed exchange for potential projects, for instance, that are happening in the United States, which we'll be doing some variety discovery with.
Excellent. And for you, I thought you were doing some type of a tour or something. Were you doing some speaking?
Yeah, I have been speaking. I had an opportunity to represent the hemp industry associations, as I am their current president based in the U.S. as for the hemp industry, the HIA.org, at both the Green Rush Conference in Vancouver and in Toronto. And the Green Rush Conference is really about bringing together, investors with companies. So it's an interesting concept as we start to move forward, as now we're starting to see, industrial hemp companies such as Naturally Splendid, be listed on the stock exchanges to be able to, really invest your money and have an ownership of industrial hemp companies. And the Green Rush Conference not only brings together, both cannabis, looking at industrial hemp and medical cannabis, but also looking at holistic living and holistic medicine and trying to do a combination of saying, yes, maybe you need to access medical cannabis, but let's also focus on what our health and nutrition looks like. But then let's also focus on what some of the alternative medicines can benefit us, whether that be acupuncture, massage, and those types of therapies. So the Green Rush Conference was well attended. They are gearing up to bring the Green Rush Conference concept into the United States also. So I'm looking forward to helping participate in those events as they start to develop. In addition, we had a nice contingency over at the European Industrial Hemp Association. Now, this has been back in May, but still pretty recent news. That was a 2-day event, and they had their speakers range from everything from hemp and construction, hemp and textile, fashion, also into a massive variety discovery program that's happening in Europe right now with over, I think, somewhere around 200 accession or lines of cannabis that they're testing. And this is through a partnership from about 4 or 5 different countries and looking at developing this large, it's called multi-hemp. And we will be asking the multi-hemp group to present at our Canadian Hemp Trade Alliance conference. And then the last presentation they had was all focused on other components of industrial hemp outside of the nutritional properties, but really looking at the medicinal properties that now have become, quite knowledgeable or, in hot in the news.
Well, one
Definitely.
thing that's hot to do is to take a commercial break and pay our bills. I don't know, my creditors get hot to try it when I don't pay it. So I know, I'm just thinking this might be a good time to make that happen.
Absolutely. And thanks to all those people that help sponsor the show, Casper. Definitely go to your break.
Absolutely. And I also want to let people know that after this, we're going to be having a song about marijuana and how fantastic it is. And then we're going to come back and pick up where we left off here at Time for Hemp. You are listening to the Time for Hemp Global Broadcasting Network. Please share us with your friends.
THCF Medical Clinics are the premier physicians clinic in the United States. THCF has offices all across the United States from Hawaii to Michigan. THCF Medical Clinics has helped approximately 150,000 patients obtain their medical marijuana permits to legally possess, grow, and use medical marijuana. If you have chronic pain, multiple sclerosis, or any other neurological degenerative disease, or if you have any gastrointestinal disorders such such as GERD, irritable bowel syndrome, or if you have AIDS, cancer, spastic disorders, seizure disorders, or glaucoma, call us at 1-800-723-0188 or visit us online at hemp.org. Again, the number is 1-800-723-0188 and the site is hemp.org.
In need of a ganja vacation? Blaze away.
Don't criticize it.
Hotbox Jamaica. Chill.
Legalize it, yeah.
Relax. And burn all day while watching the amazing ocean view. Listen to the birds. Bathe in the mineral waters of the Ganja River. Munch on tasty Jamaican Rasta food. Take a weed farm tour and hold a meditation. Book this amazing vacation for $420. Get the Sativa Special. 7 nights in Sativa dorms with ganja meals and airport transfer. Check us out at hotboxjamaica.com. That's hotboxjamaica.com. Hotbox Jamaica, a higher meditation vacation.
Indigrow is your source for affordable induction grow lighting. First discovered in 1891 by Nikola Tesla, Indigrow lights deliver 11 years of electronic sunlight to your plants. Indigrow lamps require less than half the power of traditional HID lamps. Converting to Indigrow lights means you'll cut down on your power bill with less lighting. Indigrow lamps also use 5 times less mercury than traditional fluorescent or HID lamps, making Indigrow not only energy efficient but environmentally friendly as well. No more switching out lamps between vegetative and flowering stages. As nature intended, your lights get a steady dose of UV light. That makes your plants grow healthier and stronger. Indigrow products are manufactured in San Diego, California, and come with a written 10-year warranty. What Tesla knew, then growers know now, is that Indigrow lighting is the cost-effective addition to your victory garden. To learn more or order now, go to inda-grow.com. That's INDA-GRO.com, or call 877-452-2244 to answer any of your questions. These guys really know lights. Indigrow really is your sunlight in a box.
Education and information. See what all the buzz is all about. It's time for hemp. It's time for hemp.
This is a message of a world in war. This is a message of a world in pain. This is a message to our global leaders. This is a message, a cry out for freedom. This is a message of a world in war. This is a message of a world in pain. This is a message to our global leaders. This is a message, a cry out for freedom fighters. What we require, souls on fire.
More fire, more fire, more fire, fire.
Freedom fighters, what we require, rebels fire.
More fire, more fire, more fire, fire.
What are we doing with a word like this? The act of Noah was already a sign, a warning of Jah, destroy the evil mind. Jah, don't let it happen again. We already got us a second chance. We have to take it with the lights in our hands. We only live once, we must make it better. Global freedom and peace is the answer.
This is a message of a world in war. This is a message of a world in pain. This is a message to our global leaders. This is a message, a cry out for freedom. This is a message of a world in war. This is a message of a world in pain. This This is a message to our global leaders. This is a message, a cry out for freedom fighters. What we require, souls on fire.
More fire, more fire, more fire.
Freedom fighters, what we require, rebels fire.
More fire, more fire, more fire.
We have to stop the killing and fighting. All over the world people are dying. Children are hungry and always crying. Oh Mama Africa. Some people over the world searching for solution, but Diablo is showing the cross of the war. Why using bombs and bullets where to war? Self-destruction of our own human species.
This is a message of a world in war. This is a message of a world in pain. This is a message to our global leaders. This is a message, a cry out for freedom. This is a message of a world in war. This is a message of a world in pain. This is a message to our global leaders. This is a message, a cry out for freedom fighters. What we require, souls on fire.
More fire, more fire, more fire.
Freedom fighters, what we require, rebels fire.
Yeah, we are freedom fighters here, and we do believe in personal freedoms. And in order to have personal freedom, you've got to be responsible. I mean, it's just plain and simple. We don't expect people to do silly things when they're given the right to be free. I mean, good golly, Miss Molly, we don't want you getting involved in recreational use of marijuana or smoking 2 or 3 bowls of your medicinal herbs only to get on a bus and drive across town. That's not responsible. Nor do we expect you to go to work after you've done that. That's not responsible. Please be responsible. And by being responsible, we're able to have our freedoms. That's just how it works around here. We can't figure out why it is this wonderful plant is outlawed. I mean, it's not like, seriously, I've said it before. If you told me they've outlawed poison oak or poison ivy, I would think, well, you know, that makes sense. People go running through it and they just get all itchy and it hurts them and they get sick. People even die from it. Okay, it's kind of stupid to outlaw a plant, but let's just try not to grow it. But to, you know, outlaw this plant that creates medicine and food and clothing and fiber and 87% of the creature comforts that we so enjoy means that there's something more behind it than logic, and that's greed. That's my rant today. Follow the money. Find out why it was outlawed. Check out 1937, the people who stood up and said, well, we got to outlaw this plant. I'm Shell Oil Company, and if I have to compete against it, I won't be able to. Or check out the pharmaceutical companies who said, oh, my God, if this plant's legal, we'll never be able to sell medicine to these people because, gosh, they can grow it for 3 cents. Check out the paper industry who went, oh, my God, I got all these damn trees. Who's going to need these trees as long as we're growing marijuana, i.e. cannabis, i.e. hemp, and using it for paper? We're not. We've got to outlaw that plant so I can sell my trees and make a buttload of money here at Time for Hemp. Kelly, you do a lot of wonderful things for the marijuana movement, many wonderful things. You underwrite the cost of events and marches, and you help activists stay busy being activists. You help organizations keep their doors open, and you even help medical marijuana patients get some healthy ways to take their medications. This is the time to say how that is.
You betcha. We are very happy to we offer a program where we give away a quality vaporizer for 100% free. And I know when you say 100% free, that gets everybody's attention, I hope. And what we're looking for, of course, are patients, medical cannabis patients who use this wonderful plant to medicate. And for a lot of these people, they're elderly. Maybe they never smoked tobacco or cannabis and find it uncomfortable to smoke their cannabis now for relief. And so vaporizers are an awesome alternative. Not only are they healthy, first of all, they eliminate well over 20 carcinogens that are created by combustion. And so this is a big benefit, of course, and also appeals to the medical community when they think about cannabis as a medicine. And what we're looking for are cannabis patients who are on assisted income, whether it be AISH here in Alberta, assisted income for the severely handicapped, a veteran's pension, old age pension, welfare, assisted income of whatever that variety may be. And generally, medical patients are on one of these programs. And if you know of any of them, you're well aware they probably have difficulty just paying rent and buying food with the amount of money they receive in a month. And of course, trying to purchase expensive cannabis medicine. So they're very, very strapped. And certainly they could never, ever afford a quality vaporizer. And these are the people we're looking for, not only to help them in a healthy manner to consume their medicine, but also they're extremely efficient. And patients report using 50 to 70% less cannabis after receiving a quality vaporizer. And so this helps them in the pocketbook, which is probably, which is really, really a huge advantage to them. So it's that double-edged sword. It's much healthier, much more efficient. And so we want to hear from you. We know that I know being involved in the industry that these people are everywhere. And whoever you are or wherever you may be listening in the world, we have shipped free vaporizers to Europe, UK, Israel, Africa even, Australia, the United States, of course, and Canada, South America. And so we like to hear from you anywhere, wherever you may be. All you need to do is be a cannabis medicinal patient and be on assisted income and can't afford a vaporizer. Super simple. Send me an email telling a little bit about yourself and, of course, contact information. And just send it to Kelly, Kelly, at kdkwholesale.ca. And if you're listening, you can do that right away. And if you're not one of these people and you're involved in the industry, certainly you know someone who is. Pass that information on to them because we sure enjoy giving them away.
And on behalf of the marijuana movement, Kelly, it's an act of love that I know is very much appreciated. And to you and, of course, your staff who make it possible, thank you very much. What is that background noise?
I have no idea. I thought that was you.
No, it's not like somebody's moving furniture and getting ready to go cross country. Must be Anndrea. Are you there, Anndrea?
I am here. I'm not for sure what it is. Maybe you're hearing the distant quad on my property here moving around. I'll close the window.
I might be, but listen, there's a big race on now from my point of view. We got Canada, who's been promoting marijuana, i.e. cannabis industry that they've got there with the food and the cosmetics and the suntan lotions and I think even fuel. And then we got Americans over here who are finally putting in an acre or two in Tennessee and Colorado just to experiment to see what hemp's going to do. Now, when the Americans finally get their heads out of their tuchus, they're going to figure out, oh, my God, these stoners were right. You can make paper and fiber and fuel and all kinds of products. Dang, we need to be growing this stuff and making products out of it. So when that happens, the race is going to be on. Anndrea and Kelly, how soon do you think the race is going to kick off? And then who do you think is going to end up leading the world in the hemp industry, Canada or America?
Well, I hope that there is a race and countries do compete because there's no doubt any amount of hemp that we can produce can be used, and continually people make new products using this wonderful plant, and they all need the more and more acres that get planted each and every year. Once there reaches a certain amount, I believe then you start to have facilities pop up around those farmers that are growing this stuff and start making facilities to take this raw product and turn it into things that people can use around the world. And The more the merrier. Every year we get more and more acres. So, and every year we get more and more products that this wonderful plant can produce. So, onward and upward. I think if you're in business, you have to look at this as, people are always looking for green products. Well, you aren't going to find a greener product on the planet, I think, than hemp that has so many uses. Not only, like you say, there's some of the things you didn't touch on were like fuel and certainly foods. I mean, I love hemp hearts and I use hemp oil, and certainly fuel and pellets to run coal-fired energy producing facilities here in Alberta. There's a company making cars, parts and pieces. Henry Ford already did it way back, I don't know, in the 50s or something like that. It's just endless. I can't imagine not only the benefit in terms of the products we can make from it, but the planet, what it does to the soil, what it does to the air around us, and how it improves our planet. Companies are looking for green products. Well, any companies that are seriously interested in green products should be looking at hemp and how they can use it in whatever they manufacture.
Yeah, I think, another great point to bring up is, we've talked about the fashion, or we talked about the building sector, for hemp to be used as an insulation for replacement of pink insulation. There are so many homes right now that are suffering from the sick home syndrome and that will need to be renovated as we move forward for the health of the family living in those homes. And hemp as a building material is a great option. We have seen some of these homes get a reduction in the cost of their insurance and other benefits that come along, not just in your health, but in your monetary situation for a long term, as you'll see a decrease in your heating bills, electric bills, because the house is now sort of becoming a living, breathing home versus kind of a dead zone that's just growing mold and sickness within the family. In addition, if we look at the fashion sector, one of my favorite hemp fashion companies, which I say builds clothes for real people. They've got every size from an extra small to a triple extra large, is Efforts Clothing based in Toronto, and that's efforts.ca. When you call them up, let Noreen know that we sent you over there from iHemp Radio as part of the Time for Hemp family. They offer wholesale products, everything from not only incorporating hemp into their products, but also into bamboo. They're just looking right now in a really reasonable price. They've got some great things on their clearance rack right now, but also, for a women's classic hemp tee for $22. This is really a very affordable price, especially if you see people going out and spending $40, $50 on an article of clothing that I say has no conscience. And I think that's really important. And, joining groups like efforts.ca, Young Maven Clothing, for instance, Enviro Textiles. These are all companies that are really working together in synergy to reach that goal of Young Maven's goal of getting every person in the United States in a hemp article of clothing by 2020. And we know on average, I did a hemp or a fashion seminar some years ago, and I was one of the, I was just a delegate in the audience, but they were saying that the average American buys over 60 new articles of clothing a year. Now, this is averaged out. And, why couldn't one of those articles be a nice pair of hemp drawstring shorts for only $38? I'm looking on their website. That's their special price. So if we start to look at that, a men's hoodie for only $38, you'll go out and buy a hoodie that has no conscience. There's no idea about where that clothing came from. It's not really a talking piece. And I'll tell you, every time I wear hemp and I'm out in business, or just meeting somebody and I say, oh yeah, this shirt's made of hemp, the number one thing they want to do is they want to feel it. They want to feel what that fabric feels like, because they think it's like those old burlap bags. And that's not the case anymore when it comes to hemp as a fashion. And I say, if you're a company out there and, you really are throwing your weight behind cannabis in general, let's get your entire team in button-up long sleeve shirts or t-shirts. And those are things that companies that are based here in Canada can provide, just like efforts.ca. And then there's really great companies in the U.S. also. And the nice thing about, ordering from within Canada, if you're in Canada, is you don't need to deal with Customs Border Patrol and a potential tax or importation fee or anything of that sort. And so I really definitely suggest people to check out efforts.ca and really start supporting, Canadian businesses just like your business based in Calgary, when they can actually come into a storefront and see the material and feel it and try it on.
One of the things I enjoyed about working with Jack Hare was Jack Hare managed to know where to find those types of things. And in the early 90s, I was wearing a beautiful blue, almost like a Levi, very soft, comfortable hemp shirt. Had little silver like pewter buttons that had the image of a marijuana leaf on it for the shirt buttons and the cufflinks. And it was a real cool shirt. And so cool that all three that I ever had were stolen by other people. But it lasted that long and never wore out. But anyway, we got to take a commercial break and pay our bills. And when we come back, we're going to pick up where we left off here at Time for Hemp. All right, we got 4 minutes and... You are listening to the Time for Hemp Global Broadcasting Network. Please share us with your friends.
If you are in the Portland, Oregon area and are an OMMP card holder, then come down to Nikki's Diggity Dank Market, Portland, Oregon's first and only weekly OMMP market, presented by the Alternative Wellness Center, located at 5241 Southeast 72nd Avenue, 2 blocks south of Foster Boulevard, close to public transportation, held every Sunday 10 a.m. till 7 p.m., connecting quality vendors with patients. Nikki's Diggity Dank Market also has a weekly raffle with products from every vendor. So come down to Nikki's Diggity Dank Market and have fun while connecting with quality vendors and getting great natural medicine. If you are a vendor and want a chance to connect with OMMP patients, you can check out their Facebook page at facebook.com/Alternative Wellness Center or call 971-888-4392. Be sure to register early because space is limited. Nikki's Diggity Dank Market.
In need of a ganja vacation? Blaze away.
Don't criticize it.
Hotbox Jamaica. Chill. Relax and burn all day while watching the amazing ocean view. Listen to the birds. Bathe in the mineral waters of the Ganja River. Munch on tasty Jamaican Rasta food. Take a weed farm tour and hold a meditation. Book this amazing vacation for $420. Get the Sativa Special. 7 nights in Sativa dorms with ganja meals and airport transfer. Check us out at hotboxjamaica.com. That's hotboxjamaica.com. Hotbox Jamaica, a higher meditation vacation.
Indigrow is your source for affordable induction grow lighting. First discovered in 1891 by Nikola Tesla, Indigrow lights deliver 11 years of electronic sunlight to your plants. Indigrow lamps require less than half the power of traditional HID lamps. Converting to Indigrow lights means you'll cut down on your power bill with less lighting. Indigrow lamps also use 5 times less mercury than traditional fluorescent or HID lamps, making Indigrow not only energy efficient but environmentally friendly as well. No more switching out lamps between vegetative and flowering stages. As nature intended, your lights get a steady dose of UV light that makes your plants grow healthier and stronger. Indigo products are manufactured in San Diego, California, and come with a written 10-year warranty. What Tesla knew, then growers know now, is that Indigo lighting is the cost-effective addition to your victory garden. To learn more or order now, go to inda-grow.com. That's INDA-GRO.com, or call 877-452-2244 to answer any of your questions. These guys really know lights. Indigo really is your sunlight in a box.
Free? Did you say free? Free hemp? Free hemp? Free hemp video and audio? Free downloads of all the top artists, all the pot artists on planet Earth. Interviews with all the people making the movement, making the hemp movement. It's time for hemp. That's right, world. It's time for hemp. That's right, world. It's time for hemp.
Yeah, stay alert with consciousness. That was my rant on the last break. We want to be responsible. So here's my other rant. If you're sitting around the house just down Twinkies and watching Gilligan try to get off the island, trying to figure out if Ricky's going to kill Lucy, and if you're not sure if Frasier's going to get married, oh my God, get up off that couch. You are part of the problem. You are the problem. Get your foot out that door, one in front of the other. Start knocking on doors, telling people about the wonderful things that can be made from hemp. Tell them how horrible it is that we've got people sitting behind bars for being involved with this plant. Get up and write a damn letter to somebody you've never met before who's sitting behind bars and let them know that there's people out here thinking of them. Go by and visit somebody who's sick and cannot afford their own medical marijuana and break out your own damn bag. But for God's sake, get out that door and become part of the solution. This is your life. Show up and be part of it. With that said, I pass this joint conversation back to my joint host and my joint guest. And remember, anytime you hear the word joint on the big joint broadcast, nearly 2.5 million people all around the world pack their bongs, their pipes, their vaporizers, and roll up their joints and take time for hemp. Now, I'm going to kick back and enjoy this joint while you guys jointly chat.
When you're out and about and you're doing things with the hemp industry, do you run across people who are confused, I guess, and equate it to the cannabis plant? You know, as
well, I say more, since it is cannabis, some people may think that industrial hemp is marijuana, but I think what we're seeing now with really good education campaigns going on, really globally right now, people really do understand the concept that industrial hemp is industrial hemp and marijuana is marijuana. But now what I think we're seeing is, unfortunately, there are, head shops and dispensaries and, marijuana points of sale places that want to call their shop, hemp for us or, the hemp store. And then you go in the store and there's no hemp at all. So I think that sometimes, people want to market a product based on the word hemp, but their product is really not industrial hemp. And that sometimes can confuse people. And especially now as we start to see products come out that are, made from components, or they want to call themselves hemp oil, but it's not hemp oil as in hemp seed oil. It's another type of extract. And so, we're starting to see some clarification come down on, what are those products? What do we call them so that we're not confusing the consumer, first of all, and also the rest of our industry. But this is a lot to do with sort of regulations and how we're seeing those things move forward. And, we're just seeing a great success. And one of the things that Casper had asked earlier was about, where do we see who's going to be the leader, let's say, per industrial hemp. And I see a lot of collaboration happening between countries, which is going to be really key as we move this industry forward to being a completely legitimate industry that has multiple chains of processing. Because if you're a company and you've got hemp in your product, for good business, you're going to have multiple sources to be able to supply you that product. And that's one of the things as we start looking at how do we grade these products. So if you purchase hauled hemp from Manitoba Harvest and you purchase or hemp hearts or shelled hemp or dehulled hemp or peeled hemp, depending on what you want to call it, if you purchase that from, let's just say you purchase that from Manitoba Harvest, but you also purchase it from a small company, Hippie Butter, for instance, you're going to know that the quality and integrity of that product is almost identical because of the fact that it's been produced in a facility that has HACCP GMP certified. So you've got all of the marks to make sure that there's no mold and yeast and that there's no E. coli and that the peroxide values are correct and that the flavor profile is correct. And we've seen that really advance overall internationally, especially as we started to see the interest for hemp foods growing in other countries, such as the European Union, for instance. All the European Union countries now are really ramping up hemp production, looking at variety discovery. And we've just had we've just had 950 pounds of Canadian hemp planting seed. And here in Canada, we function underneath a pedigreed seed production. And we've just seen these 950 pounds of Canadian planting seed imported into Kentucky without any problems. And it's been really good because they've got a good process now with the DEA, which has been very important. I just had my first meeting for a site visit with the DEA agents this past month. And very interestingly enough, after having animosity, hatred, thoughts of anger, frustration, all surrounding the DEA in my particular field, talking about industrial hemp. And then really after we had our meeting with the DEA officials that came in to inspect our site, really at the end of the meeting, I wanted to go buy them a beer. They were good people trying to do their job. And now they have a framework to be able to really, what I say now, facilitate moving forward the industrial hemp sector in the United States when it pertains to cultivation. And I think still on the question about, do people confuse industrial hemp with marijuana? No, I don't think we're getting sort of beyond that now. It's still there are a lot of people that do not understand, but you see right now you have political campaign platforms being built around industrial hemp. Jamie Comer, for instance, down in Kentucky, I've heard that, he's got plans to run for governor. I would vote for him for governor right away. We see the attorney general spot coming up in the state of Florida. Bill, who's running down in Florida, his platform is called Hemp for Water, and basically looking about how can they use industrial hemp to provide some tax breaks and incentives for businesses to come in and really roll over industrial hemp in the state.
Hello?
Revenue and tourism and subsidies.
Oh, I didn't know what happened. Right in the middle of the last part of your conversation, you went completely mute, Anndrea.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes.
It's one of those wonders of our technological age. But yeah, so we're starting to see a lot of forward movement and collaboration. I think that is really going to be key. And I always say, people ask me, because I'm from Missouri, I'm based here in Canada.
Anndrea? Kelly?
Yep.
Are you
I
there?
am here.
Extreme.
All right, that's weird.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Oh, again,
Hello.
must be the DEA or something.
Well, we like them. They can patch in anytime. We're not afraid. We're not saying anything that's illegal, explicit. We're saying things that are truthful. And as I said, I have a newfound respect for the DEA agents that are holding the hemp folders. And I think they are really good people that are just trying to do their job, the best job they can. And now with the new appropriations bill that came forward this past month, which basically in those appropriations bills that passed through with the hemp amendment, and I'll say that when it went to the Senate committee in my home state of Missouri, Roy Blunt, which is not a co-sponsor of our federal bills, and sits on this appropriations committee, which controls the budget for the DEA and the Department of Justice, carried forward the hemp amendment, basically stating that the DEA and the DOJ can no longer prevent the cultivation of industrial hemp underneath the Farm Bill. And so they cannot spend money to stop the growth of the industrial hemp sector in the United States.
Well, I always tell the members of the DEA who are listening in that on Wednesdays is Leap Day, Law Enforcement Against Prohibition, here on the show. And anytime that you listen into the network, please take notes and share what you learn with your coworkers. We got about 3 more minutes to wrap this bad boy up, so it gives you a chance to give a shout-out for organizations, events. And, Anndrea, you got a great show. We're going to do an encore presentation this evening, but normally you're live. And then we'll turn to Kelly to give a shout-out.
That's right. I'll just ask everybody, go ahead and mark your calendars there's 4 events coming up. The first of those is going to be the hemp building seminar being held in Fort Collins, Colorado. That is hosted by the Hemp Industry Associations, the HIA.org. That's in early September. In addition, we have the Hemp Industry Association's annual conference happening in Washington, D.C. on the 21st and the 22nd of September. And then the Canadian Hemp Trade Alliance Conference, it's a 4-day event in November the 16th through the 19th in Winnipeg. There's going to be tours and 2 full days of really amazing educational presentations, a massive trade show. And then in addition, there's some building seminars going on down in Australia and New Zealand. So really, we're really poised right now. And we don't want to forget about Hemp History Week, which is the National Education Grassroots Campaign. And go ahead and mark your calendars for June 1st through 7th of 2015. And we'll get more seeds sown in the United States, and that will be through international collaboration with all of our colleagues in Europe and here in Canada, really helping to grow the Hemp Industry Association and the hemp industry sector overall, without really saying, you're my competitor, we're against you, because we're all really actually in this together.
That's right. We certainly are. And Kelly?
Last week I mentioned about the Prairie Cup, which is upcoming event in Saskatoon. It's a great event, and I didn't know the dates. Well, now I know the dates. It's Friday, September 26th till September the 28th, 2014 in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, for those of you that might have trouble pronouncing that particular one.
That would be a great name for a jazz song. Go ahead.
Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Yes, it's a beauty. Anyhow, 26th to the 28th. It's a great event. If you want to check it out, just go to prairiecup.ca, and you can find information there on passes and judges' passes and all that kind of stuff. Again, another fun event.
And I want to remind people that tomorrow is Leap Day, Law Enforcement Against Prohibition, and the joint founder of that amazing organization, Peter Criss, is always the joint host on the big broadcast. On Thursdays, Paul Stanford rolls in and sits down and takes time for hemp with me, and we jointly discuss what's going on across the United States and around the world with some of our great joint friends and joint guests. Fridays, Michael Krawitz and I jointly go looking for a hard-working activist who's working jointly with people in his community to end this horrible travesty known as prohibition, called Small Town Fridays. We are a growing network. We are a group of people who are working jointly to end the war on drugs. We have a joint meeting occasionally and talk about that, but we always do let the world know this prohibition is a horrible failed policy. 40 or more hosts on the network, over 60 hours of original content about the need to end prohibition, all free to share with your friends, because we love you here at Time for Hemp.
Look at all that money, yeah, the money that they spent. Take another look and spend some time for him. Don't cut trees for paper, cause it hurts the environment. Stop deforestation, yes, it's time for him. Whoa, an acre of hemp makes 20 bales of oil. No need for pesticides to poison